Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi there, I'm Amanda Stevens and welcome to Retail Renegades, where we explore the inside stories of retail success stories, disruptors and entrepreneurs shaking the establishment, carving new niches and challenging the traditional bricks and mortar retail model. Joining us today is Amanda Bracks, the founder of Soulful Fitness, a very unique retail concept that spans health, fitness and wellness. Launched just 9 months ago, Soulful Fitness has grown exponentially and is currently sitting at 84% of capacity, on track towards Amanda's goal of full capacity within 12 months. She's here today to share the story of that success, but also tell us about the bumps along the way. Amanda, welcome to Retail Renegades.
Thanks, Amanda.
Now, I want to talk a lot about this new concept that you've launched because it's really exciting and quite inspiring. But before we do that, I want to talk about your background in retail because it's quite an amazing story. You started in retail at a very young age, working in your family's retail business. Tell us about that.
That's right. So my father actually owned the largest clothing manufacturer in Australia in the 70s called Bracks Slacks, which a lot of the viewers and everybody in retail actually know about. And I worked in the factories as a 13 to 15-year-old girl. I think you have to be 14
Was
to
that
work.
legal?
Well, it was like a bit of family help there. And then obviously earned my keep at home. And then I worked on the factory sales days and stuff. So funny enough, I can run a good open day because I've just really discovered right that moment that because of those sales and stuff that we ran from the factory outlets. But then after that, I worked in some of the menswear shops that we supplied to. One was Woody's at Eastwood, which was a menswear store. And I learned a lot about selling in that environment. From a guy called Jerry Colreevy. He was obviously a mentor at that time. And then I did a university degree and I worked in quite a few female fashion stores up until the age of about 22. So I really love retail, I love fashion. And I also worked in supermarket stuff when I was 16 as well. So I like the cold face customer interaction.
Yeah, so you've got retail in the blood, obviously. And then, so how did you get involved in the fitness industry? Because that's quite a pivot from fashion to fitness.
Yeah, so I was always involved in sport and I wanted to be a personal trainer, but I knew I was good at sales. So after I finished a university degree, I decided at that point that, I was working in retail and I realised I was really good at selling. I just loved connecting with people and giving them what they wanted, and it was quite a good experience. I was playing sport competitively, touch football and stuff, and I thought surely I can combine my passions of sport and selling. And so I sent my resume to a number of fitness clubs in the area saying, hey, do you have a salesperson? And back then, it was about 1995, they didn't really have salespeople, but if you get an opportunity like that, people took it up. And I went for a couple of interviews, and I sat in one club in particular, and the way they made me feel when I engaged at point of sale, or at that interview, just even walking into the reception, the girl treated me so well that I thought, wow, if I might just be coming for an interview here and she may never see me again, but if she welcomes me that much, I want to work here. She would just didn't welcome the members that way. She welcomed someone that just might be a one-off. And so I got the job there and I became a sales person there. Pretty much just ripped in and just tried to double anybody else selling at the time, and just always competitive really with myself more than anybody else. Became the sales manager after 3 months, became club manager probably after 6 months. And then that was when I was 23, and by the time I was 26, I won New South Wales Club Manager of the Year, and then the next year or two we won Australian Fitness Club of the Year with 4,500 members building up, and we're turning over about $4.5 million.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just, it was fun.
So what did you learn about selling fitness memberships that was different to fashion?
Well, it's a non-tangible, so that really set me back a lot because I thought sport was fun. I thought everybody liked it, and then I realised that that's not the case. So we're selling something to people that they don't really want the process, they want the result, kind of like, L'Oreal discovered with makeup is the same way.
You're selling hope.
Right, selling hope. So we learnt that story, and so we changed the process to selling hope as well, and that's how the sales engaged a lot better. We could actually understand what we're selling. the non-tangible, it's just like selling insurance. You're selling, security and insurance, I guess, in a day, or a safety net. So we, selling a non-tangible. And also now we realise that we're also selling something that people have got to actually have a delayed gratification. They've got to want to pay and put the work in and then get the results later. Whereas in it's very instant. You can get a nice bling watch or a nice ring that sparkles very much quickly in the shopping centres, and that gets immediate dopamine release and satisfaction. Whereas we're not selling that. It's a bit of a process. So it is harder, and you kind of need to go through a higher needs much more detailed needs evaluation with those people, as per I'm sure the insurance industry is the same. Yeah.
So so that was your first experience in a club, and I know you've done a lot of consulting with clubs since then. That's kind of been your passion for the past 15 years or so, working with clubs to increase their sales.
Yeah.
What have been your learnings, and what could any retailer take out of those learnings about sales in retail?
Yeah, so working with the fitness as well as just any retail, I work with small businesses and marketing and hairdressers, it's all the same. Generally, if people aren't hitting their financial objectives, it's because they don't actually know what that is. It's quite bizarre. Like, I think a lot of people are running P&L after the fact, they're not forecasting. So, all I do, every single business I go to is, I'm the king of forecasting. I just go in and forecast, and that's how we built this business as well, which we'll go into. But, forecasting, setting targets, and then working off a plan about hitting those targets. It's surprising, and no offence, but sometimes you just get so caught up in operations. I can understand why it happens, but if you don't know where the goalposts are, how do you know where you're running to?
Yeah, flying a business blind. We know plenty of people like that.
Yeah, but they may be really, really good at what they do. It's just they're not good at understanding where they want to go with the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Soulful Fitness, because you launched this business 10 months ago. You've worked in the fitness industry for such a long time. Had you always wanted to start a business, or you weren't quite clear on the concept? What was the inspiration for this?
That's a really good question, because I've always been asked, because we'll just make it really clear, in the fitness industry, I've always been involved in the business side of it. I've actually never delivered a personal training session or anything like that, even though obviously I'm skilled in those areas. It's not my thing, So from the get-go, everybody used to keep saying to me, you should own a business. I got asked to buy into that original business, but when we're turning over $4.5 million, a girl that's 26 years old or 28 years old, how much money she got to invest into a $4.5 million business? Not much. So I thought I would buy a home first, which happened when I was 30. And then I sold that home and bought another home, so now I have equity. And that's kind of what I was waiting for. The other thing that happened was that the scope of the size of fitness businesses changed from big box models to smaller ones. And same as a lot of retail. Like, funny enough, I was in Robina yesterday in the shopping centres up there, and a lot of the big chains are getting replaced with small boutique. Again, the same thing.
And pop-ups as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So because one, it's more affordable for rent space, then more people can buy into different businesses. Franchising's created an awful amount of opportunity for people. Like, there wasn't even a franchise in the fitness model when I was started up that we know about, that I knew about. There definitely wasn't one in Australia that was, Fernwood was around, but apart from that, that's been around for 25 years. But apart from that business, there really wasn't a lot. So I really couldn't, and I'd have to get, our rent was about $330,000 a year. So the rent model was too high. You just needed a couple $1 million. Whereas now I'm in a 300 square metre premises. The buy-in was $400,000, not, $1 million or $2 million, plus I had equity to do it. So, and also the experience for getting a loan for a business loan is not that easy. So those were the combinations. The model, I kind of knew what I wanted, but it would have been a different model. Experience has actually made me get the model that I wanted in the end. Yeah.
So tell us about the model. What makes Soulful Fitness unique in the marketplace? Because there's really nothing like it, certainly in Australia, is there?
Yeah, so it's a massive risk, but working in so many fitness brands around the world. Last year I was in China, India twice, and I do travel a little bit with the Asia market and look at all the models over there, and I do conferences, and I work with brands over there there might be an American brand or whatever, they're still in those Asian countries, and I look at what's going wrong and what's going right, and in Australia I've worked with every pretty much fitness brand in Australia, and the model is that 82% of the Australian population, it's been deemed, are not currently on a regular exercise program. And I've got excited with all these brands coming out, and everybody knows who they are, and there's a boxing brand, and there's a 24-hour brand, and then there's, there's all these different, small group training brands. And I keep thinking that maybe we're just reinventing hardcore exercise. And if 82% of the market is saying that they don't want to go to these places and they don't want to exercise regularly, and 60% of Australian and New Zealand people are obese at the moment, clearly we're getting it wrong. So maybe, even though we love it, the industry loves what we do because we like the high energy, maybe we need to start listening to consumers and what they want. And so I thought, right, maybe you can do a lower, a low intensity workout and still get results. Look at people who teach Pilates and yoga. They have the most amazing bodies, and they've got a great wellness about them, and they're very muscly, and they're very long and lean, and they've got great postures. And I'm thinking, maybe that's the way to go. So whilst I ran Pilates and yoga and all those things in a big box gym, I thought maybe let's just go out and specialise. So it was a massive risk, and in the first month I would sit there and I'd almost cry in the shower thinking, I don't think the public understand what I'm trying to achieve. And then obviously we just persisted. And there was a moment, and this is a really good lesson for anyone, and I'm really big on this lesson. If I learnt one lesson in my whole 20 years of experience in this one industry, this is it. It got to September, so we opened in May, had a lot of different issues that we can address, but I got to September and I thought, that's it. I'm going to go back, I'm going to start delivering some circuit classes, I'm going to do a run club, I'm going to put this high energy in. And I went to Byron Bay to see a friend who owns a bakery up there, that very good friend of mine, for 4 days. I slept on the floor in his house, roughed it, loved it. I was getting back to roots. And I came back and I said, girls, we're not going down that way. We're going to stick to exactly what we set this model up for. And from that moment on, the business changed. I think because I was in two minds about what I was trying to achieve.
So you were uncertain, and that probably showed in the way you were marketing and presenting the product. So from that moment that you were clear on the vision and stuck to the vision and stayed committed to it, what changed?
We sold 74 memberships the next month, and then we grew because I just came back with conviction, and because even the team were just trying to, everyone was trying to help. Like, should we change this or change that? No, we're right. We just needed to be patient and just have conviction that we're doing the right thing. We just actually needed patience because we hit our P&L forecasting every single month. There was actually nothing wrong. Yeah. But sometimes when you want to be more successful than what you actually are, it's kind of a curse.
There's an amazing lesson in that, I think, particularly for startup businesses. And we know plenty of startup business owners who have dreamt of a vision, have thought about this business, have percolated on the idea for such a long time, and then when they open it, it's kind of like they have that build it and they will come mentality.
Oh,
and they probably give up too soon, as you, Nelly, did.
Yeah, I use a build it, they will come analogy all the time but we build it, and I must admit, we were doing every single channel. We weren't just sitting there waiting, we were going out there. That's kind of why I got to the end. When you can tick all the boxes and saying, are we doing everything? And I said, yes. That's when I got to, maybe we should just start broadening the members. The public was so used to the gym, they were driving it because they were saying, are you guys doing fitness? Are you guys doing run club? And would you come to run club if we didn't know? So I'm starting to get confused by consumer reaction. But then we started getting people walking in the door going, you're not a gym, are you? And we go, no, we're not. And we just knew exactly that was our line. We just wanted to be in the wellness space, but different from fitness clubs. I love fitness brands. I still work with them, but I just wanted to have a step down. My members might get fit enough to go to a gym. That's great. Because there's always that huge population that are not fit enough, or nor do they want to sweat. They just want to move their bodies, strengthen it, and even get peace of mind. So.
And you've sort of launched this business at a time where there is probably more change going on in the fitness industry than ever before. We're seeing all these new models coming in, CrossFit, F45. I saw one the other day talk about niche, Piccolo Pilates, just whatever.
Coffee and workouts. Yeah. Probably good theory.
So did any part of you think there's sort of too much change going on and I'm coming in with another new concept?
No, because I knew they were all changing in the red ocean and I was just clean out in the blue ocean. And I've worked with yoga and Pilates studios before, and I worked with them as a consultant, and their systems are not there. That's why they don't. It breaks my heart to see yoga studio open and close. The only reason why it's done that is because it hasn't forecasted right and hasn't put in the structure to allow just to drive growth. Cash-based stuff just doesn't work in our industry because, anyway, there's a number of reasons for that, but you just you've got motivation as a major factor that stops people from walking in the door. It could rain and stuff like that. You just need to have locked-in memberships that are on direct debit. Then way people want to come more often, you get rewarded for coming more, not rewarded, just not pay per visit, and then you're just weighing up, do I have a tickle in my throat?
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.